Alright guys, so we're headed to Kentucky today. We've been struggling, man, to find parts for this engine I've been trying to put together. I was really wanting to put this 18-degree aluminum engine together, but been having a lot of trouble finding parts. Can't get sleeves, can't find a camshaft for the block that I bought the other day. Turns out that Speedmaster block was ordered the wrong bore size by the previous machine shop, so I went out and I bought a brand new, or new to me, Dart aluminum block. Well, it had a raised cam and it used a big block Chevy cam core, so that brought on a whole new series of problems trying to find parts. And I'm just scrambling and stressed out, and this engine has been on Facebook for about a week. I saw it at No Prep Kings. It was in a little Chevy 2. It looked like a tube chassis car. It was on small tires, and it was pretty quick. You know, it ran good. It had real small turbos on it on E85. It ran real good for what the setup was, it looked like. So here we are. We're headed to Kentucky, and it's a 408 small block Chevy, iron block. It's O-ringed. Pretty similar to what we run in the past. Pretty similar cam specs. It should work out pretty well, you know, to finish out this season and do this big race we got coming up. It is on the street, so it's not like we're going to be using all the power that we can make. You know, usually when we're street racing, we only use about half of what we can make. So I think it'll be a good motor to get us through the rest of the year while we're building the other small block, you know, and waiting for parts. So hopefully it turns out pretty good.
So how would you say this one is compared to the engine that was in your truck? Is it stronger or is it about the same?
It's pretty similar. It's got Manley rods, Callie's crank. My engine had Molinar rods and Molinar crank. I don't know, we're gonna take the pan off and look at everything, see if everything is as it should be. It's only got 16 passes since it was freshened up. You know, we're gonna look at the bearings, see if they're okay, just to make sure, you know, before we even run it. That way we know what we got. Just gotta pull the pan off. I gotta change the pan anyways to the S-10 pan. I gotta weld some bungs in it, and then just bolt my intake on, and we should be good, as long as everything looks good in the engine. I'm so afraid right now.
Why?
The patch job on this oil pan, just chicken poop welds all over it and smearing silicone everywhere. It's really nice. And then the weld job they did on the bungs. Somebody welded it with their feet. It's worse than mine. That's worse than my welds. Doesn't have the good main caps like my block did. Mine was 4-bolt back here. And in the front, this one's 2-bolt. And nicked the rod right there. In the back. It's a little end block, but doesn't have the good caps.
Don't look bad.
A little shiny in the middle, but
They're standard bearings. What's the crank look like? Crank looks alright. Have you pulled the good melling pump off your engine? Why don't we pull that off, because it fits your pan and this isn't going to fit your pan anyway. If we can put that melling pump on there, let's put it on, because I watched this. It only had 60 pounds of idle. It may not have enough oil pressure for the amount of power it makes with that little pump on it.
It's Chevy approved.
Did you get that pulley?
yep.
There's stuff in the oil filter, and then the oil that's in the engine is blue and the oil that's in the filter is beige, so it never ran with that blue oil, so I don't know why that blue oil's in there. I'm checking main rod bearings and it shows signs of a little bit of oil starvation.
Here's look. Okay. It looks like new.
It's fine. For some reason, number 2 rod bearing showed a little bit of
Main bearing.
main bearing showed a little bit of wear, like maybe the bearing was too tight or didn't have enough oil pressure. Number 1 looked fine, and these rod bearings are looking all right, but
So I've been seeing a lot of comments lately. People are like, do you guys not have Billy's shop anymore? We haven't been here in a while, so yes, it still exists. We got Robbie's car in here. He just cut the front end off of his car.
Slow process, but hopefully I'll have this done. Shooting to have the front end on it by the end of next week. Got a couple of things to run, and then we'll set the motor down and fit the motor down.
Sweet.
Start locking up a turbo.
And then here's your guys' next clue on what we're doing with my truck.
Put a jack into the transmission.
I did.
Jack out here.
Keep coming. A little more. All right, well.
Can't turn it yet. We have to be
Whoa,
sideways.
whoa, 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 whoa.
We have to be sideways. Where's that?
We got her now, old son, yeah.
Why does this engine seem so much larger?
It is. The bore spacing on these is wider.
Oh,
So
really?
you can have a bigger bore. You can't build a fucking LS to a 4155 bore. That's why a 408 LS stroker is a 4-inch crank, just to get 408 cubic inches. You can't put a big bore in it. Looking good over here. It can come back some now. Okay, down. All right. I'm holding mine. Go ahead and come down.
I need to come up on my side about half an inch.
God, why is it so hard to push? More?
A little bit. That's good.
Everything else is easy from here on.
Alright, so that's going to about wrap it up for tonight. Tomorrow we'll get it running and we'll fool around with the Mustang a little bit, maybe fool around with the street cars this weekend. I got to help a buddy test his car tomorrow, and I don't know, who knows what we'll get into. Stay tuned. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of wood.
Give a little bit. Give a little bit of your lube to me.
So, like, are you about to start this thing up?
Yeah, where you been?
Not here.
There it is. Hit it.
Oh, nope. She.
Psych.
compression, and it may have just a little bit duration than the other cam. It definitely has more lift, but I don't think you're going to hear that. We used to run the old motor with 1.5 rockers, and this has 1.6. It's about 670 lift. I think the old cam was like 660 lift or something, but that was with 1.5.
Will this be a pretty good comparison to like the old engine? Like,
Yeah, it's
comparable?
Pretty, it should be pretty close. I mean, it's comparable for sure. It's a little bit more cubic inch because it's got a bigger bore, but cam's different, heads are different.
Different good or different bad?
Cam is probably just as good, but the heads, I don't think they're just as good. They might be a little bit worse. But for what we're getting ready to do, I think it's going to be just fine.
At least you can finish out the season.
It may surprise me, I don't know. I'm just glad we were able to find something. That way we know we're good. You know, we've got something. We're not scrambling. I was getting pretty irritable because couldn't find any parts.
Very irritable.
Huh? What was that?
Very irritable. Grumpy.
Like a bear with a sore ass.
The parts problem in this country is ridiculous.
You know when he's grumpy because he starts going to the gym again.
It's just getting worse.
He starts going at 2 in the morning.
Dude, you look like you haven't slept.
It's everybody's eyes are watering from this thing starting up.
At least it's got good oil pressure.
I'm glad we changed
I think that pump is going to help, or whatever problem it had going on, because that little pump and that little tiny ass screen, it's like a stock pump. It definitely needs that additional oil pressure and oil volume to lubricate those bearings, keep the crank off of them. Because the rod bearings looked alright, they looked perfect, but the mains, I think for the clearance they have on the mains, they just need a little bit more oil. It must be pretty loose.
Well, now what are we doing?
Putting this brand new ATM carburetor on the Mustang.
So you plan on racing Dad this weekend?
Red one. Where's the dog? I don't know where he's at. Research. Actually, take the carburetor off for me. Nope. Alright, so ATM Innovation has sent us this badass 750 carburetor, all tricked out. Came with a wide open throttle switch on it, brand new one. Never have an issue again. It's got the Old Man's Garage logo on it. This thing is super badass. Came with this sheet, what all's in it.
So these are going to be for sale though, like these are going to be on the product line.
Yeah,
right?
this is going to be part of their product line, their Old Man's Garage series. So at some point you'll be able to buy these online. And they're nicely priced too. They're definitely competitively priced with Quick Fuel and everybody else. It's a hell of a nice carburetor. It's a shame it's going on such a punk engine.
I didn't say that. What do you think, Mr. Jackson? You want to pee on it?
Pee on everything else.
He pees on everything else.
Everything he sees is a fire hydrant. And everything. Oh, look, a fire hydrant.
It's a piss post.
sounds better, smells better, revs cleaner so far. It revs nice. I mean, it ain't even warmed up yet. Usually it's got to be 180 before you can even touch the throttle on this thing, or else it just tries to sputter. And
hit it like that when you would whack.
I couldn't even move it around the driveway till it got up to temperature. It just wanted to die. You see my timing control? Some old school shit. I got that knob in here now, and when I go to spray it, I can dial this back. And if I'm on a real bad road, I'll dial it back even more. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I stole one off the S-10.
Also, when I go to start it, you know, I can dial this back, and then it starts a little easier. So I'll dial it back and start it, see how it sounds.
That's the best sounding 302 Ford I've ever heard in a street car.
Let's hear it.
Out of the box, it's got 50cc pumps, front and rear, and it had brown pump cams. That's a very, very aggressive pump shot. Now this is very important. On a stick car, every time you let off the gas and get back in when you're banging gears, the accelerator pumps extinguish their pump shot. And this has 50cc pumps, and it had brown pump cams. That's a lot of fuel being dumped down it every time you let off the gas. So I didn't remove the 50cc pumps. That's a lot of work. You got to change a bunch of shit. I just took the brown pump cams out, put pink pump cams in it. So that's a 30cc pump cam. That's fine. You can do that. Put pink pump cams in it. Set on number 2 just to kind of lessen the pump shot just a little bit, and jetted the back of the carburetor down a little bit. The ATM jets are a little bit different than a Holly jet, and you got to be careful because a jet number is not the drill size. You need to look up online. The jet charts are up, but if you look at like a 78 Holly jet is an 89 thousandths drill size orifice, and this had a 91 thousandths drill size orifice in the back, and it was I'll have to look at the sheet, but
Yeah.
the ATM jets and the Holly jets aren't quite the same, but if you look up the drill sizes and the orifice sizes, that's what's important. The jet number is not. It's the orifice size in the jet. So I took, let's see, I took 3 or 4 thousandths orifice size out of the rear jet, changed the pump cams, and turned you loose.
So when I first put the carburetor on, you know, it sounded really good. It cruised really good.
Freaking amazing.
It was awesome. But wide open, every time I would get in it, it would kind of have like a rich stumble, you know, when I'd first smack it. And it was a little rich on the secondaries, I could tell. So after you did what you did to the carburetor, it feels like it's almost on nitrous right now. It's on motor.
Dude, it sounds like a totally...
Could you hear it
car.
on 40?
Yeah, I could hear it.
I ran it all the way to the top of 4th. I mean,
Did
it
you
got
really?
there quick.
Did it really?
So
You ought to go make a hit on the draggy and see what it does.
I think it's an 11-second car on motor now.
Dude, that thing...
This thing might go 9s.
Listen, this thing sounded...
If I go 9s with a T5.
Listen, this thing sounded like a dud. It sounded like a dud. It sounded like a junk-ass LS motor. This thing it literally sounds like a nice running small block Chevy right now.
It sounds really good.
This thing sounds really, really good.
Just start it up real quick.
That's-
All right, guys, so we successfully got the truck back together and running today. Big thank you to Big Rob coming out and helping me.
Big thank you to a
thank
Big
you
Rob.
to my dad, helped me last night, and coming out here, tuning on the Mustang, and we're getting everything lined out a little bit at a time. You know, the whole engine breaking 3 rods was a big setback, and you know, I thought I was good. I thought I had an engine ready to go, you know, with a block and crank rod, the whole rotating assembly. I thought everything was going to be good. You know, we could start putting that motor together. We had plenty of time. But then when I found out we didn't have the right block, it was ordered the wrong bore size, ordered the wrong mains. It was just all messed up. So it kind of put me in a bad mood. And
Very,
you know, obviously,
very bad.
obviously, most people would be in a bad mood if they spend as much money as I did, and they find that, you know, they don't have what they thought they had. So, but I did find that other engine, and we went to go get it the other day. We filmed that, and that was kind of a lucky deal, being able to find that as a backup motor. Not a whole lot of people are running turbo small block Chevys anymore, so that was a good opportunity, and at least it runs, and we'll get to make mega cash days, hopefully. That's coming up in November, from what I'm hearing. So we're going to have the Falcon and the S-10 there. I didn't want to try and rush and get the Nova done in time for it, because I really would like to take my time with it. And you know, a month is not a lot of time, and the engine's not completely done at Bob's yet. I'm still working on it. We're both still working on it. So the best option was to take the old tried and true S-10, and that's what we're going to do. So hopefully in Texas it's a asphalt road. Even if it's concrete, I think the truck could do pretty well.
Oh, so it's going to be in Texas?
I'm not sure. They haven't told us where it's going to be yet, and rightfully so. They know everybody's going to go there and try to test. As soon as somebody finds out where it's at, even if they say a state, you know, it's pretty obvious where it might be. So if it was in Las Vegas, you know, obviously they'd be racing at the road they've been racing on for all the other shows that have gone on out there. It'd be pretty easy to figure out, and then they ruin the road and they piss off all the locals, and it's just a mess. So we probably won't know where it's going to be until the week before, or even a couple of days before. So yeah, that's going to do it for now. We'll be doing some testing on the truck and getting the Falcon ready. We got to get it back on the lift and check everything over, general maintenance, and make sure everything's good to go for this race. It's going to be the biggest race we've ever entered. And we got some street car action coming soon. I think we're going to end up doing the Malibu versus the Mustang race here soon. Dad got his nitrous kit on from Nitrous Express, and it worked. I rode with him the other night and made sure everything worked right, so we should be getting that going here soon too. Ain't that right?
Yes, sir.
Who do you think's going to win?
Me?
Yeah. So yeah, lots of improvements, lots of work, slaving on these cars. So no, it wasn't the most exciting video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Try to bring you as much content as we can. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you next time.